Let's go over how to make a tassel using this clover tassel maker. This will be in size large. I will also be using yarn from We Crochet. The Hawthorn yarn is what I'm going to use because I recently used it on a beautiful shawl that you can also find on my blog. So I want to show you how to make these really clean and pretty tassels. I'm going to be using some spare Hawthorn yarn I had to do so, and you can find the yarn and this clover tassel maker on wecrochet.com. To get started, you can adjust the length of your tassel by adjusting these knobs on the side, which is why I really like it because it's not just a one size tassel. You can shorten or lengthen the tassel as you like. I've got mine set, and you can see on this side I've got these arrows that where they should be, and now I'm ready to start doing my tassel. You can insert your yarn underneath this one side if you would like to hold it into place. If it's a thicker yarn, you just simply hold it with your thumb. And the next thing that we are going to do is to wrap. This kind of came out there. There we go. Still going to hold with my thumb. So now we're going to wrap our tassel, and this is what creates the body of the tassel. So you'll want to wrap quite a bit. I like to make my tassels decently thick. That way they don't look frumpy. So wrap the yarn around and around. Once you have the desired amount of thickness, now we will go ahead and we will put our yarn on the other side to kind of hold the other end there. And now we are going to work on the center. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this yarn. And now I don't have a cord made, so I'm just going to use the yarn that I'm already using, which is what I did for those other tassels. And I'm going to make a center cord. To do so, I'm just going to simply tie some knots. So this will require a knot in the end, and if you make a cord, it will be a little bit thicker, but if you don't have a cord maker, that's okay because we can still make this work. So this is like what my tassel will hang from. Now I want this knot to be pretty thick so it doesn't come out. You'll see why later. So I usually tie it a couple of times, especially with a thinner yarn. With a thicker yarn, it's a bit easier, but I really want a thicker knot right here. Once I have my knot ready, I will insert it into the center. Now the center is where these arrows line up. You want to insert this knot into the center of your tassel. And you want it to sit in the middle in between. So I'm going to insert that knot into the center, just slightly below center, because now I'm going to take another strand and I am going to tie right above that knot. So now I'm going to take another strand and I'm going to tie around the entire thing right at center, and I'm going to tie a couple of knots here. And I want this to be super tight. This is where we want to really make our knot tight. Now for the fun part. This is where we cut, and I really like how it has these grooves up top because it makes it much easier to cut. You're going to want to hold this tassel and cut the first side and then flip it and cut the second side. And now we can remove it from the tassel maker. Find that center like so. So this is our top center cord, and now we're going to just pull the yarn, just let it sit right around that center cord. So kind of let the yarn just fall where your center cord is going to be coming out of the top of the tassel. Just kind of adjust the yarn to be a little bit prettier so it doesn't look messy. For this next part, I am going to be using a different color of yarn just so you can see what I'm doing. It will help. So you're going to take your yarn to do this top, right, like this right here, the top tassel tie, and we're going to bring it like so. So have the end here, wrap it this way so you have this little loop, and then place your thumb where those loops cross. And now you are going to wrap, I'm going to kind of hold my top cord here so it doesn't get wrapped in here. So now you're going to wrap your yarn clockwise around the top of this tassel. And I think you'll be able to see kind of what happens here. I'm going to kind of pull it tight, keeping my thumb on that beginning edge. And I'm just going to keep wrapping around. And this creates that really cute top band. Once you've made the top band how you want it, you can go ahead and cut that yarn. And now you're going to take the end that you've been wrapping with, and you are going to place it through this loop that we made at the bottom. And now here's the fun part. We're simply going to pull each end together, and it will pull that into the center. Look at that. So it's nice. It's like stuck inside that loop. We can go ahead and we can cut those ends so that they don't show. So now we've got this cute tassel going on, and the last thing that we want to do is we want to make these bottom ends straight. Now there is a trick to do this with paper that I think does make it a bit cleaner. So let me grab some paper and I'm going to show you that. So this is just some red cardstock I had laying around, and I'm going to wrap it around the tassel. Get it in there tightly, and then I'm simply going to pull this tassel until the point I want to cut. So notice this really tightens everything together. It helps make a cleaner cut in order to have this tassel be really flat on the bottom. I can simply throw those ends away. And now that I have that cut, I can take it out of the paper and look at that cute tassel and how straight it looks on the bottom. And then I can use this top cord to attach it to whatever I like. I really love these as finishing details on pieces. I think it really adds a lot. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you pick up your own clover tassel maker to create tassels for your fun projects.